People want to have a one-stop shop. They need us for now all these different services, not just the heating and air side.
When things are going wrong, you want the company that's going to be able to get things done as fast as possible for you.
Today, we're going to be in over 600 homes. What the customers can count on is we're going to send a competent person to your home with a vehicle that's stocked and prepared. We're going to do what's right.
Right now, we're waiving our $79 service fee with any Coolray, Brite Box, or Mr. Plumber service.
We all need hot water. Some of us need more than others. So it's a good thing that State has a wide range of tough commercial-grade water heaters for your home. From standard models to high-efficiency and tankless models, we've got you covered, no matter where you live, what you do, or who started it. To install a State water heater in your home, visit statewaterheaters.com and use our contractor locator to find an installer near you.
The following is a special presentation of Extreme eSpeed TV, your new home for everything iRacing and eSpeed.
Well, I'm expecting to see some pretty aggressive driving, and not aggressive in any, poor demeanor, but just excited to be back out there on the track. We've been able to talk. We've had a lot of recaps. We've kind of spoken everything that you can into the dirt, I guess you could say. And it's about time that we get back to racing. I know these guys are excited. We got a lot of participants tonight, a lot of familiar faces, and there's going to be a lot of names that you're going to want to watch. But right now, it's just good. It's good to have racing back on a Wednesday night. We have tonight, we have next Wednesday, and the Wednesday after that. So I think we're going to get our fix, and we're due for it.
So we are at Weedsport Speedway in upstate New York at Cayuga County Fairgrounds for the first annual Ice Bowl presented by Carrier. We have had 4 races, 3 different winners to kick off the season. The Super Bowl of racing at the dirt track at Charlotte, won by Dylan Perry. Then we headed to Volusia Speedway Park for 3 nights of racing at the end of February. John Foskey picked up wins in night 1 and 3, and then sandwiched in between there was a win on night number 2 by Aiden Young. You're watching Extreme eSpeed TV, and we are here tonight at Weedsport Speedway. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be back with Adam's Notebook to see what key events are coming tonight.
get the most horsepower from your crate engine with ProFabrication headers and exhaust. ProFabrication headers and exhaust is an official partner of the American Crate All-Star Series and used by winning racers such as Dylan Brown, Logan Robertson, Carson Ferguson, Christian Hanger, Cody Overton, and Eli Beats. ProFabrication headers and exhaust, just a click of a mouse away at ProFabrication.com. Quality that wins. Get yours at ProFabrication.com.
Welcome back to Weedsport Speedway. And Adam, I know you've got your notebook full of key notes for tonight. Next up, we're going to go to Adam Johnson for Adam's notebook.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Travis. And if you know me, you know I'm a man. I'm a pen and paper kind of guy. In this world of digital, I am the one man who makes sure that we keep the pen and paper around and go back to really where it all originated. And with that, we have Adam's notebook, and I am very excited to share some things as we head into Weedsport Speedway. I want you to know this is only the second trip for the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series to Weedsport. And if your memory is good enough, or if you've been following the series long enough, you'll know that Tater Williams, our current Extreme eSpeed TV superstar that we love showcasing on here, he was last year's winner. And can he do it again? Can he go back-to-back? We will have to just wait and see. Of course, if you also know about this track, you know it can get slick, and that is what we're going to be watching tonight. The track is going to start off black, about 50% wear and tear, so you're going to notice that with these cold temps in the area, you know, we talked to our own Larry Mack. We know exactly what's going on with the weather. It's going to be slick, and what does that do for control? That's a question we're going to want to look at tonight. Is this going to mean guys start conservative, or do they start a little more wild, knowing they might not be able to play it that wildly later on in the race? Something to follow. Watch that track, but it is going to start pretty black. And of course, you know, fourth race of the season. We also want to talk how tight the points race is heading into Weedsport. Of course, you have John Foskey leading everybody with 345 points, but right behind him is Dylan Perry, close at 316. But much like when we watch this racing, it's that third through fifth spot. That's the pack you really want to watch, and that's where we're having the most intensity. Aiden Young, Brandon Bender, Justin Thompson, they're all just 10 points within each other. Thompson has 295. 1 point behind him is Aiden Young. Of course, Aiden Young has a win on the season, so it just goes to show how strong and consistent Justin Thompson has been this season. Something we're probably going to watch and keep, you know, mentioning not only tonight but the rest of the season. So credit to Justin. We don't want to look too forward yet. We're all about Weedsport tonight, but Bristol Dirt is up next, and you know that's one that we get excited about. But for right now, the D-shaped speedway is what is on our minds. So those are just a few of the things in my notebook. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, though, that the Carrier Fall Nationals, well, that registration is open on the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series Facebook page, and it is open to all iRacing drivers. So if we forget to mention it later tonight, we want you to know that is open. Check it out. And in the meantime, sit back, enjoy some time with us, because, Travis, we've got a treat for the viewers tonight.
It is going to be another great show by the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series here at Weedsport Speedway. We're going to take one more commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have Houston Guttering time trials from Weedsport. You're watching Extreme eSpeed TV.
Hello, my name is Benny Boudreau and I created the Springrthm app. The Springrthm app allows someone who doesn't have access to a Spring Smasher to be able to set their car up to their manufacturer's suggested install loads and center to centers, as well as be able to figure out their dynamic loads, as well as make adjustments to them to make their handling of their car better. For someone who does have a Spring Smasher, Springrthm will greatly reduce the amount of time to figure out those new stack setups by allowing for instantaneous spring rate changes as well as load changes. Springrthm will even make sure that your setup doesn't coil bind at the loads that you're trying to hit. For only $4.99 a month, you too can have access to the same information that top late model teams across the country are using to gain a competitive advantage.
It rose from humble beginnings in the Valley of the Sun. A sprint car racer saw the need for racing shirts And now, the vision of Carl Korbacher has resulted in Arizona Sports Shirts helping racers across America spread their message. For the best custom designed shirts, hoodies, caps, koozies, and much more, go to ArizonaSportShirts.com. Be part of history. Arizona Sports Shirts, the original racing shirt.
Racers that win, pour it in, and we appreciate you.
We take many precautions to stay protected. Online protection requires the same amount of precaution. Cybercrime is a $6 trillion industry. Roughly 158 people fall victim to this type of crime every second, and a business will be compromised every 11 seconds. In the last 3 years alone, the number of malicious websites has increased by 130%. Bottom line, you need protection from someone you trust. Call Computer Pros for protection plans as low as $4 a month.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker. The future is feeling.
Dyer Trucking in Mohawk, Tennessee is family owned and operated, and their main goal is to always please their customers and deliver their freight in a timely manner. If you need it hauled and you're in East Tennessee, the number you need is 423-393-4229. That's 423-393-4229. Dyer Trucking's also on Facebook. Pick up the phone and give Brad and his family a call today. Dyer Trucking. If you need it, they can get it. Find them on Facebook.
New year, new season. Extreme eSpeed TV brings you live coverage of the Light Electric Company Next Gen Series. See the Next Gen Series' biggest stars battle in iRacing's most competitive series. Elbows up, hammer down action. The Light Electric Company Next Gen Series, live on Extreme eSpeed TV. Your home for everything eSpeed.
Welcome back to Weedsport Speedway. This is the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series on Extreme eSpeed TV, and we are in Weedsport, New York for the first annual Ice Bowl presented by Carrier. Adam, so far this season we've seen a lot of fast cars. Who's sticking out to you as we head into Houston Guttering qualifying?
Well, you know, we talked about it in the notebook, and I think a name that I really didn't pay much attention to would be that of Justin Thompson. Justin Thompson is a name that we should have been talking about from week one, and we did mention, but the consistency that he's shown to be third in the point standings without a win, and not even third, you know, far and away. He's just holding his own in that group. I think that's a name we're going to want to watch a lot. I think also Aiden Young, he's been close to a couple wins. Dylan Perry, of course, has been close to a couple wins more. So right now it's the Foskey and Perry show, but these guys, like we always talk about, you know, 3rd through 10th, it wouldn't shock any of us, specifically you and I, as much as we've talked about it, if either of them walked away with a checkered flag tonight. So this is going to be a race that really kind of resets the field. And this, well, we're not going 3 days in a row like with the Nationals. What we are doing is we're going 3 weeks in a row. So there's a lot that's going to be changing between today and 3 weeks from now before we take a break in April.
Those are fine names you threw out. I think a couple more that we have to look at. Dylan Perry won our season starter at the dirt track at Charlotte, and he could have won any 3 of those races in Volusia. And then the other one that I have is, as you mentioned, Tater Williams, last year's winner here at Weedsport. He's going to be a contender to today. And as we mentioned Weedsport, let's take a look at Weedsport Speedway as we're here for the first annual Ice Bowl. It is a 3/8 clay oval mile, upstate New York. We've got beautiful, clear, sunny weather. And as we mentioned, coming up next week is the Bristol Motor Speedway dirt race. Adam, anything else on this historic track that you wanted to add?
Well, I didn't know a ton about Weedsport going into this, but I do know that we're so close to Canada that I don't know if you noticed we had the metric system up there for some of the measurements. That's shout out to our Canadian drivers. A lot of opportunities here in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. But no, I think this is going to be a night where we've seen some races in the past that have led with a lot of cautions. It's been a little chaotic. I think if there's ever a track that might show that, it could be this one, knowing how slick it's going to be. So I want to see how under control a full field can be, especially as everyone in these first few laps is really just trying to get a feel for the track. They've been running practice. We have the time trials coming up. So hopefully that gives them enough of a feel for the track that when they actually get out there for lap number 1 in the main event, that it doesn't lead to too much carnage and chaos, because I just want to watch some great racing tonight.
My favorite fact about Weedsport Speedway and Cayuga County Fairgrounds, Adam, early 80s they held concerts here. Listen to this lineup: Aerosmith, The Beach Boys, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Van Halen. Talk about a good night at Cayuga County Fairgrounds back in the 80s. There was plenty going on there, just like there is tonight. The fans are filing into the grandstands here in New York. The cars are wrapping up practice. Next up, we've got Houston Guttering time trials for qualifying. We'll have carrier heat races next, Combs Cut's Last Chance Showdown, and then our feature event, the first annual Ice Bowl. 40 laps around this speedway. As we go into qualifying, who's your pick for fastest time?
Fastest time? I'm going to go one that we haven't talked about. I'm going to say Mr. Brandon Bender. I think he's 5th in the points. I think Brandon Bender, maybe bend some ears, maybe bend some eyes. People are going to notice him tonight.
Looking at the field we've got, Adam, it's a condensed field tonight. Currently only 17 cars over there in the pits off 3 and 4. I know Andy Piercefield had some prior commitments that he won't be here tonight. We've had a couple drivers come down with some illnesses, some sicknesses this time of year as we change from winter to spring. So 17 cars here at Weedsport for tonight's chapter in the 2022 Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series as we're here at Weedsport Speedway.
Yeah, it looks a little different, the lineup tonight. Like you mentioned, Andy's out tonight. I know it's hard on him not to be here, but we also have, like you said, some sicknesses. There are people who are making this lineup look a little different. So if this is your first introduction to the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, understand that we normally have a very, very full field, and it'll surely be like that next week. So wishing everybody the best who maybe not feeling too hot. I know a couple of guys are going to give it a go tonight, and we respect that. But in case you see anybody drop off some connection breakthrough on the internet, there's something maybe going on there. So we're really excited, though, for this night of racing. We have a full notebook. We have a full stats. We've had the opportunity to really take a look at these guys, and Travis and I have talked about this a lot in really the last couple of weeks, that we're ready to take these things we've talked about. We're ready to take these point standings. There's only so many graphics you can look at before you're like, boys, we need to get back into racing. So we're getting much closer to the Houston Guttering time trials. And, you asked me, and I think it will be a guy like Brandon Bender. I hope to at least see Brandon Bender in the top 5. Is there a name that, you're really looking at? Because I know you're big on Dylan Perry. I know a lot of people are big on Dylan Perry, but in the betting world, that's just too much of a safe bet. Who's kind of on your radar?
We've seen Tater Williams be fast here. Dylan Perry, obviously. Foskey. Aiden Young's been fast at times. I agree with your pick from earlier. I really like Justin Thompson. He showed a lot of speed down in Volusia. We talked to him a couple nights after that. I think one thing to think about, too, is we did 3 nights at Volusia. By night number 3, the guys were really they were happy with how everything went at Volusia, but they were ready to move on to something different. And there were some guys that really showed some speed early and then showed some struggles. One I think of is John Hine. We watched him in the Toilet Bowl 100. He ended up winning the last chance race pretty strong-handedly, made good ground in that feature event, 100 laps at Volusia, and then he just kind of struggled as we went through the 3 nights at Volusia. Couldn't find that same speed he had the week prior. So it'll be interesting to see who kind of comes out of this, and as we go through this season, the tracks will change, the strong suits to each drivers will change, and it'll be interesting to see who can take advantage of that.
And you know, what's interesting when you mentioned Hine is, one, he's a great broadcaster if you listen to him on Sunday nights. But the other side of that is, imagine if you're a driver and you're good at 80% of the tracks on the schedule, but one of the tracks you're just not that great at, you know, is the one where we happen to do 3 nights in a row. So what I love about looking at the point standings is you think, oh, you got a guy like Steven Speeds, he's 75 back, or even, oh man, Colin Voiles, 150 back. A lot of those points, where do they come from? Including a lot of double points races. Those came from the Speedway that we've raced 3 times, Volusia. So what I'm excited for is this is now an opportunity to say, okay, John Foskey, Dylan Perry, Justin Thompson, Aiden Young, are you guys really good at that track, or are you really good throughout an entire length of the season? And honestly, I think these are all great drivers, so I'm not going to be shocked if Foskey, Perry, and Thompson are still 1, 2, 3 at the end of tonight. But it really goes to show that preseason, you know, the money is not made tonight. The prize money is not all taken home in the first 5 weeks. There's respect that's gained, sure, the first 5 weeks, but I think we have a lot to see. And yeah, this D-shaped track is going to provide some drama, I sure hope. So, Travis, I know we're getting closer to Houston Guttering Time Trials, and I know the fans. I know everybody's kind of getting sick of us just talking about it. They're ready to see it, so we're getting closer.
And with that said, we just got a message from Series Director Cody Early. We've got 3 heat races tonight with only 17 drivers logged in and signed in for tonight's racing event. So we'll have 3 carrier heat races. And before we get to Houston Guttering Time Trials, let's take one more break. We are at Weedsport Speedway, and you're watching Extreme eSpeed TV.
Tire and Service Center is your one-stop shop for all your car care needs, and they're now a Cooper Tire dealer. American tires for the American worker. Buy a set of Cooper tires and get free tire rotation and repairs for the life of the tire. They have a 12,000-mile or 12-month warranty on most repairs. Check out 107 Tire and Service Center. They're located at 6256 Irwin Highway, Chuckey, or call them at 423-620-4970. For all your car care needs, 107 Tire and Service Center. Family owned and operated. And their #1 goal is your satisfaction. Find 107 Tire and Service Center on Facebook or call them today at 423-620-4970.
Hello and welcome back to Weedsport Speedway for the first annual Ice Bowl presented by Carrier for the 2022 Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series event tonight. Up top you'll see the practice speeds as we head into qualifying here shortly. Houston Guttering time trials coming up next. Anyone stand out to you from practice, Adam?
Yeah, you know, we had Tater Williams and Dylan Perry, one of the first couple mentioned, but look at Chapman, their third. You know, Zach Chapman, 18th in points right now, and, you know, Travis, you kind of alluded to it. It's going to be a different lineup tonight. 24 normally on our full roster for the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Looks like just 17 happening tonight, and it's tough. I know this is hard on a lot of the guys because, you know, it's been a while since our last race, so, you know, thinking of them, hoping everyone the best, wishing them the best, of course. And right now, though, we got to get into these Houston Guttering time trials. So we, just like you, waiting for the drivers to hit the track, make a couple of laps. We're going to tell you a little bit about the guys and gals and organizations on their car, and you're going to enjoy a good night of racing.
So Houston Guttering time trials, 2 laps, 2 guys go out at a time. As it looks like we were going to have Jacob Lassiter and Tater Williams in the first group. Once they come on out, we'll get this started. 17 cars. We're setting the field for 3 Carrier heat races, as we've got Jacob Lassiter in the 51 and Tater Williams in the 182. Tater, as we've mentioned, won last season here at Weedsport.
Yeah, so, I mean, we saw it there in the trials that he can really show it up, and so this looks like we got Mr. 71 of John Hine out of St. Louis, Missouri. John's got the Cruise Shop, cruiseshopfw.com, BMR Wraps, Coolray Heating and Cooling, and Gambler Motorsports on his car. It looks like he put down a 15.5 flat, so we're going to see how that stacks up as the other boys get ready to join.
Also out there was the 98 Justin Thompson machine. He turned a 15.42 for the fastest time thus far. Now coming out is the number 69 of Aiden Young. Aiden Young won one night in Volusia with us. He is from Dalton, New Hampshire, in his Capitals race car. Coolray heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical on the front of that machine as he makes his first time around here. His first lap will come in at a 15.74, puts him currently third.
Now let's bring out Mr. Dylan Perry out of Ringgold, Georgia. Coolray, Rapid Race Graphics, Mashburn Equipment, Stealth Racing Carburetors, Newt's Lawn Care, Phantom Race Engine, Chip Bangers Racing. He's got it all, and he just put up a 15.4. So by 0.02 of a second beats out Justin Thompson. We're still very early, but that was a nice quick lap for Mr. Dylan Perry.
Now coming out as series director into the 3 machine, it's Cody Early from Greenville, Tennessee. Warrior Race Car, Food City Bass Pro Shops, Vortex Wraps, Vic Hill Race Engines, Oakley, as Cody makes his way around.
A little bit of a stumble there early on, and we'll see if he can recover. But not the best start there for Cody, but we know he can recoup and recover as he puts down a 19.54. Also out here is the 72 of Zach Chapman. Mr. Chapman out of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, riding for Coolray Heating, Brite Box Electric, VMR Wraps, and Gambler Motorsports. We're going to see what Zach puts down as he approaches 90 miles per hour, coming in at a 16.29. Cody on his second lap got a 17.13, so not the fastest times in these last couple, but luckily just a little Houston Guttering time trials for see what they do in the heats. That's what I'm excited to see.
I'm liking Chapman's Scooby-Doo machine here this week. Something different, and it definitely stands out there on the track. Next up in the 55 machine, it's going to be Steven Spees from Lee's Summit, Missouri. He's in the Midwest Turbo and Performance Gambler Motorsports number 55. He makes his first lap around Weedsport Speedway. And his first lap will come in at a 15.6 flat. That puts him 5th on the leaderboard after his first lap.
And I'm starting to see, even from the first qualifying car to the last, getting a little slippery in that first turn when the boys first step out. We've seen a couple later and longer times than we really expected to see. So I think maybe the benefit was going first. I know Perry and Thompson can speak to that, even Hine and rounding out the third. So let's see who's coming up next. But Speeds lays down a 15.6, good enough for 5th so far.
And something I noticed there, Adam, is that turn 4 seems to straighten up real quick. Some guys really had to tiptoe as they went around 3 and 4 and came out of that corner. Definitely had an effect on some of their times there, and it'll be interesting to see how that changes throughout the night.
Well, what gets my heart beating is I'm thinking about when we drop the green flag, even in the carrier heats, this is going to be pretty intense. There's going to be not only some dirt flying, but some metal might be banging tonight as we see the number 1C of Colin Boyles come out. He's driving with the Mountain Zion Auto Service, Mountain Zion Auto Express, and Dependable Concrete. I'm liking kind of that purple look on there. And as we also see the number 41 of Brian Boyles come out here, he's got the Dependable Concrete, Hoosiers by Smash, iFlag, and Maverick Simulations sponsoring him tonight.
Now making his way out onto the track, the 182 of Tater Williams, last year's winner at Weedsport Speedway, as he starts his first lap of Houston Guttering time trials.
He looks fast.
Tater's still looking for his first win in 2022. He'll take lap number 1. It'll come in at a 15.65, which currently puts him 7th out of 11 cars. Also on the track is the number 51 of Jacob Lassiter. Jacob out of Dresden, Tennessee in his Rayburn chassis. His first lap was a 15.7 flat. His second time will improve to a 15.46, putting him 3rd. Tater Williams clocked in with a 15.47 his second lap, good enough for 4th.
Yeah, so we saw some real quick speed that just got made up there. We knew Tater was going to do it. Credit everybody following him. And right now we'll see the number 117 of Joshua Johnson hit the track. And he's driving with Vortex Wraps, KHJ Powder Coating, and Vortex Motorsports. And, man, he's riding that high line, and he's riding it pretty quick. Interested to see what this top line is. Also out there, the number 29 of D.C. Smith for Team Zero Race Cars. He's got Riverside Fabrication, CBR, B&B Bates, Combs Cuts, and Bang & Sets by CBR. Joshua got 15.69 on his second, and then a 16.22 for D.C. Smith on his first one, and then a 15.67. So he was able to get sub 16, good enough for 9th. Yeah, these boys are making quick time right now, and if you're looking up on your screen, you got Perry, Thompson, Lassiter, Williams, and Hines as your first 5, as we see the 00 of Dustin Kenyon come out with Kenyon Racing, Catch Fence Apparel Company, CBR, Wares Machine, and CFM Design by JDM. So beautiful looking ride. Taking a little bit more of the middle lane though. Ooh, got a little shaky there in the final turn. We're going to see if that affects his time at all, as Dustin puts down a 16.52, puts him 13th out of 14 so far, as he makes the rounds for his second lap. Got a little shaky there once again. I'm not sure what's in that final turn, but like you talked about, Travis, it straightens out quick, and he's able to get sub 16 with 15.97 there, but probably not the ideal one for him. I'm really excited, though, to see what Dustin does in the carrier heats. Really good driver. Really excited to have him in the league.
Whenever I see a 00 late model, Adam, I think of Freddie Smith back in the 70s, 80s, 90s.
I think about my history book when I think about the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
As we wait, we've got 3 more cars left. We've got the Dylan Hutchinson machine, Brett Carlton, Jordan Weston, as it looks like the number 95 of Dylan Hutchinson is next. Dylan comes from Holt Summit, Missouri, Longhorn chassis, CBR, ZD Photos, Comb Cuts, KMJ Graphics, as he makes his first lap around Weedsport. Through 3 and 4. Cuts it sharp coming out of 4, and his first time will be a 15.90, good enough for 11th.
Then we see the 224 of Brett Carlton hit the track, driving for Southern Style Racing Engines, Chip Bangers Racing, and LC Property Investments. He's taking that high line. Don't think he's going to hit the bottom like we just saw there from our previous driver. Ooh, beautiful one for Brett Carlton. Puts down a 15.51. Wow, puts down a 15.31. And if my math is correct, that's the fastest speed. And if my predictions are right, I did not see that coming.
We've got one more driver. It's the number 12 of Jordan Van Westen as he makes his way out. Jordan hails from Del Rapids, South Dakota, and his elite chassis, Mid-State Machine, bodies by FRC, Rosenbauer of America, Pizza Ranch, Norby's Bar and Grill, TNC Self-Service, and also a Chevy bow tie on the front of that number 12 machine. Completes his first lap. Turn 4 continues to give troubles. His first time of 15.15, good enough for 17th as he makes his second lap. I'm interested to see turn 4 when we've got some side-by-side racing and more than 1 or 2 cars out on the track, Adam.
If I'm a fan right now, I'm moving seats if I'm anywhere in the splash zone from turn 4.
And Jordan's second lap is a 16.79, improves up to 16th for his second lap. So it's going to be Brett Carlton for our Houston Guttering Time Trials pole winner. Coming up next, we've got 3 carrier heat races, Adam. We'll get those lineups out and ready once the cars get lined up. And we will get the racing here at Weedsport underway. Any takeaways from qualifying?
I just love the fact that we got, and I don't want to say shocked because I feel like that's disrespectful, but it was very surprising to see Dylan Perry get overtaken by anyone. And Brett Carlton, I'm applauding from the booth. That was a heck of a drive, and it gets me fired up because that's a name that we haven't talked about on a ton of broadcasts. Not out of any disrespect, like I said, but just a name that time shocked me. It's less about the driver; it's more about 15.31. Seeing how hard it was for those guys to manage turn 4, and even the first lap for a lot of guys on turn 1, that shocked me. So credit to Brett. That's all I have to say. As it looks like we have the lineup for all right, carrier heat number 1. We have Brett Carlton, the fastest qualifier, right next to Jacob Lassiter. Second line will be Aiden Young and Steven Speeds, followed by Dustin Kenyon and Jordan Van Westen.
So some fast cars in this one. Obviously our pole sitter Carlton out front. Jacob Lassiter's been fast this year as well. Behind them, Aiden Young, who picked up a victory at Volusia. And then Steven Speeds has also been fast as we've gone through this early season for the 2022 Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Looks like the pace car truck has his lights off already. We've got 8 laps here in carrier heat race number 1.
Like he might take him around one more time, but what I really do want to see is we saw what it looked like with no cars on the track for Carlton. When you got a guy like Aiden Young breathing right down your neck, I know it's quote unquote just the heat, but that's going to say a lot about what we can expect. So I'm really eager to see how Brett handles it from the top spot.
So they make their way around 3 and 4 again, 6 cars in this carrier heat race number 1. The pace truck has pulled in, and we are green at Weedsport Speedway. Side by side as they go through 1 and 2, Carlton and Lassiter to the outside. Aiden Young makes a move for 3rd with Spees right behind him.
Look at Carlton. He's holding. Oh, and he bumps into the wall just as I compliment him, but they're still racing. No yellow out, but it's seriously hampered what Jacob Lassiter was doing. credit to Lassiter, steady and strong. Aiden Young bumping even more with Brett Carlton, and Aiden swings it there. Carlton just underneath him. Right now, it's Lassiter's run, but still plenty of laps to go in heat number 1. Ooh, contact. Aiden Young hampered quite a bit there by Brett Carlton, but they are continuing to run. I am shocked and very impressed at the lack of turnaround in terms of an accident. They are keep going, and wow, Jacob Lassiter is he's enjoying the fruits of what's going on behind him.
4 laps to go now as Lassiter pulls away from the next 3. You got Carlton second, Aiden Young third, Spies in fourth, as they've now straightened out single file, following each other's tracks. Aiden Young, quite a bit of damage to his rear quarter panel after battling with Carlton, and Carlton's been able to pick up some ground on Lassiter as they go through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and Aiden Young, not the type of racer, if you've watched any races this season, who's going to seek out contact. So that goes to tell me that this track, well, you know, we're only 4 races in, but this is by far one of the slipperiest and most, you know, unpredictable as we get this beautiful on-car camera here with Brett Carlton. He's making good time. He is right there on Jacob Lassiter. I did not think anyone was going to catch Lassiter, as we are just less than a lap away from the end.
Lassiter leads down the backstretch. You've got Carlton in second, Aiden Young in third. Carlton makes one more last effort in 4. He will not get it. Lassiter will win Carrier Heat Race number 1 at Weedsport. Your finishing order is going to be Lassiter, Carlton, Aiden Young, Stevens, Spies, Voiles. Oh, and now we're on to Quick Carrier Heat Race number 2.
That's right, Carrier Heat Race number 2, and we will have Mr. Dylan Perry on the top, right next to Tater Williams. 2 boys that are going to be hard to pass. Right behind them, though, making an effort of Dylan Hutchison and DC Smith. Rounding out the rear, Mr. Brian Boyles and Cody Early. So a lot of familiar names in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, names that we've said quite a bit on these broadcasts. So I'm really excited. A lot of action, a lot of bumping and grinding early, the middle, and towards the end of that first Carrier Heat race. I don't expect things to change any in this second one.
We'll have 8 laps in Carrier Heat Race number 2. Some fast cars. That front row should be a heck of a battle, Adam, as we make another lap before going green.
Well, if there's any hope, we saw Lassiter, he did take Carrier Heat number 1, but even when he had that large lead after some contact with the boys in the back, he still, it wasn't a super comfortable takeaway by the time he took the checkered flag. So, yeah, you see Williams and Perry up there, but there's no reason not to believe that Hutchison, Smith, Early, and Boyles aren't going to be able to catch up, especially with how erratic that first race was in terms of track control.
The iRacing pace truck makes his way through 3 and 4. Dives off, and Dylan Perry, Tater Williams are going to bring us to green and Carrier Heat Race number 2. They'll go side by side off into 1 and 2 as they're able to pull away from 3rd and 4th. Tater Williams fights back on the outside through 2 and will take the lead on the backstretch.
He just looks so comfortable. I mean, no shock. The guy won the race last year in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, but whether it's the high line, middle lane, looks like he's preferring the high. He just looks in, a step ahead right now of Perry. So credit to him as Perry bumps the wall, stays in second, but you got to believe that did a little bit of damage.
We've got Williams, Perry, Smith, and Hutchinson, your top 4 as Perry moves around. Him and Williams both were up top through the first couple laps. Dylan Perry now moving around, trying to find what he can see as he follows Tater Williams down the backstretch. We've got 5 to go.
Yeah, and it looks like Williams has done so well. Ooh, he does bump into the wall, and that just might be the strategy right now. I don't know how hard that wall is. I don't know what the safety barrier, specs are like right now, but if you're running that high, and I think that's what Perry was trying to do, is keep up with Williams, you're bound to hit the wall, but it doesn't look like it's done significant damage as they're still, flirting up there.
Tater Williams starts to pull away. He's got a lead over Dylan Perry. Back in third, we've got a battle between DC Smith and Dylan Hutchinson, as we're in Carrier Heat Race number 3, the final one to set our field for tonight's feature. Tater Williams is fast as he's got a second lead over Dylan Perry.
Yeah, Williams is flying right now, and talking about how last year he did close the first heat, but he didn't do it in convincing fashion. If it ends like this, Tater Williams doing it in convincing fashion.
They make their way down the front stretch, take the white flag. Tater Williams is 1 lap away from picking up the heat victory. Dylan Perry tries to chase him down, but it's going to be Tater Williams with the Carrier Heat Race victory at Weedsport.
That's right. You got Tater Williams, Dylan Perry, DC Smith, Dylan Hutchinson, Brian Boyle, and Cody Early wrapping up the Carrier Heat number 2. 1 to go. That's right. As we see Carrier Heat number 3 on the top, it'll be Mr. Justin Thompson, right alongside John Hine. After that, second row, Colin Boyles and Joshua Johnson, and then rounding out the rear, all by himself, Mr. Zach Chapman.
So we've talked about Justin Thompson early in our pre-race show, Adam. Now it's time for him to show us what he's got, as he'll start in P1 here. Some really nice looking late models in this race. When I was a kid, we used to pick, and you had to battle between a good looking car versus one that was beat up, because sometimes the guy that was beat up was just more aggressive and was really good, or he just wasn't that good and his car wasn't that good. Or you'd find a nice guy that had a bunch of money into his machine, but he didn't tend to run as well as his car looked.
Yeah, the latter sounds like me. They're just not very good. But like we talked about earlier, I'm looking at Zach Chapman in the Scooby-Doo car. Do you think when he knew he was starting 5th, he was like, roll raggy?
I Scooby-Doo.
Oh, man. Our mics have not been muted yet, so, folks, we hope you're enjoying this as much as we are, as we might see the pace car dip off here in just a moment.
We've been off for 3 weeks, Adam. We're back. As Justin Thompson, John Hine, round turn 4, we will be back to green in Carrier Heat Race number 3 at Weedsport. John Hine pinches Thomas down as they go into 1 and 2. Thompson's able to come out of it clean as he'll take the lead down the backstretch and through 3 and 4 as John Hine follows in behind him.
Mr. Consistency himself. That's the nickname. It's not flashy, but I'm calling it for Justin Thompson. He just finds the lanes, he avoids the disaster, and he just runs strong as we have Thompson, Hine, Johnson, Boyles, and Chapman as your top 5 in the final Carrier Heat race.
Something else about Thompson tonight I just noticed, he's got the white driver's suit with the white gloves on tonight. You can really see his hands in there working as he comes at you or through the corners, which will be fun to watch all night long.
My thoughts are with his dry cleaner tomorrow morning.
Thompson will take the lead through 1 and 2. As we've got 5 laps to go, John Hine in 2nd, Johnson in 3rd, Voiles in 4th, Chapman in 5th.
And Thompson really doing well on that high line, but also he hasn't touched the wall like we saw in the last one. You know, Tater Williams, he did really well, but he still touched it as well as Dylan Perry. He's just doing what he has to, as he looks like he might even be approaching lap traffic with how well he's running. A little bump in there from the 1 of Voiles, but he does recover.
Chapman and Voiles battling for 4th and 5th as Justin Thompson's pulled away from the field. Thompson leads, John Hine 2nd, as we'll have 2 to go at Weedsport. Thompson with a very comfortable lead over Hine.
Comfortable indeed, and I'm really impressed right now. I'm not surprised. I'm just continually impressed by the ride that he's showing. And Justin Thompson, 50 points out of first place, sitting in 3rd right now. He's got 1 heat win on the season. This would be number 2, so final lap, see if he can pull it off. I think he might. As he does bump the wall, it might affect some time.
Slung it sideway through 4, and Justin Thompson will win. John Hine 2nd, Johnson 3rd, Chapman 4th, and 5th, Voiles.
Thompson got me nervous there, I'm not going to lie, but he ends up picking it up, driving just a second. So credit to Thompson, great racing, and this should possibly lead us maybe to the last chance showdown.
It looks like tonight we will go straight to the feature, Adam, with only 17 cars.
Ooh.
They've got them lined up. We've got our break beforehand. You're watching the Pro Late Model Dirt Series presented by Coolray on Extreme eSpeed TV. When we return, we will have the national anthem and then tonight's Ice Bowl presented by Carrier. You're watching Extreme eSpeed TV.
It rose from humble beginnings in the Valley of the Sun. A sprint car racer saw the need for racing shirts. And now, the vision of Carl Korbacher has resulted in Arizona sport shirts helping racers across America spread their message. For the best custom designed shirts, hoodies, caps, koozies, and much more, go to ArizonaSportShirts.com. Be part of history. Arizona Sport Shirts, the original racing shirt.
Racers, get the most horsepower from your great engine with ProFabrication Headers and Exhaust. ProFabrication Headers and Exhaust is an official partner of the American Crate All-Star Series and used by winning racers such as Dylan Brown, Logan Robertson, Carson Ferguson, Christian Hanger, Cody Overton, and Eli Beats. ProFabrication Headers and Exhaust, just a click of a mouse away at ProFabrication.com. Quality that wins. Get yours at ProFabrication.com.
Extreme eSpeed TV brings you live coverage of the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. See Dirt Pro Late Model's biggest stars battle in iRacing's most competitive series. Elbows up, hammer down action. The Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, live on Extreme eSpeed TV. Your home for everything eSpeed.
People want to have a one-stop shop. They need us for now all these different services, not just the heating and air side.
When things are going wrong, you want the company that's going to be able to get things done as fast as possible for you.
Today we're going to be in over 600 homes. What the customers can count on is we're going to send a competent person to your home with a vehicle that's stocked and prepared. We're going to do what's right.
Right now, we're waiving our $79 service fee with any Coolray, Brite Box, or Mr. Plumber service.
We all need hot water. Some of us need more than others. So it's a good thing that State has a wide range of tough commercial-grade water heaters for your home. From standard models to high-efficiency and tankless models, we've got you covered, no matter where you live, what you do, or who started it. To install a State water heater in your home, visit statewaterheaters.com and use our contractor locator to find an installer near you.
New year, new season. Extreme eSpeed TV brings you live coverage of the Light Electric Company Next Gen Series. See the Next Gen Series' biggest stars battle in iRacing's most competitive series. Elbows up, hammer down action. The Light Electric Company Next Gen Series, live on Extreme eSpeed TV. Your home for everything eSpeed.
Welcome back to Weedsport Speedway for tonight's Ice Bowl presented by Carrier for the 2022 Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Before we get to our feature event, we would like you to remove your hats and stand as we have tonight's Invocation and National Anthem.
Hey iRacing fans, Dustin Jarrett here with Flow Racing. Appreciate what you all do, and at this time, we're going to go to the Lord in prayer for the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to gather here, to have this opportunity to maybe get away from the stresses of everyday life and just to come together as friends in this iRacing event, Lord. We're just asking you to be with the participants, help them to make wise decisions throughout the event, Lord. Be with all of us and help us with the decisions that we make in everyday life, Lord, that we might make the decisions that will help draw us a little bit closer to you. Lord, we're so thankful for the gift of your Son, Jesus Christ, as we know it's through him we have an opportunity to spend eternity with you, and we ask all of this in his precious and holy name. Amen.
We ask that you remain standing for tonight's National Anthem. Adam, we have done the pre-race. Now it is time for the cars to get lined up in the pits for tonight's Ice Bowl presented by Carrier. Here at Weedsport Speedway, we've ran 3 heats, no last chance race tonight. Houston Guttering time trials brought us a very fast time from Brett Carlton. As we go in tonight's feature event, what are you going to keep your eye on?
I want to keep my eye on the name that really impressed us early on in qualifying, Brett Carlton. I think he's, we've seen the 3 top 10s from him. He has 1 heat win this season. So I think it's the time for Carlton this could be a top 3 night for him. I saw no reason not to believe whether it was qualifying or the first heat. I think this is an opportunity for him to step up. I think this is an opportunity for our boy Justin Thompson to just continue to remain consistent. But eventually, consistency is great. But when are we going to see a win out of Justin Thompson? Tonight might be the night. The tough thing is we've done 3 races at 1 track. Only 1 winner is going to come out of Weedsport tonight. And really there's an opportunity where if we ran this race 10 times, we might have 10 different winners.
You know, Adam, we talked about having only 17 cars tonight. That's 7 shy of our usual 24-car field. One of those guys not racing tonight, reported stomach bug, keeping him out tonight, is our points leader and 2-time winner this year, John Foskey. John, if you're watching, we're wishing you well. Hope you get well soon, and we hope to see you back at the track next Wednesday at Bristol. But it is time. The cars are lined up, Adam. Let's go through the starting grid and see how they are going to stack up.
Yes, let's indeed take a look. And the top line, it'll be Mr. Jacob Laster next to Tater Williams, who was last year's winner at Weedsport. Behind them, Justin Thompson and Brett Carlton. In the third row, Dylan Perry and John Hine. Perry looking to pick up even more ground, it looks like, on the points with Foskey out. Aiden Young and DC Smith behind that. Joshua Johnson and Steven Spees. And then Dylan Hutchison and Zach Chapman. As we scroll down, that'll bring us now to Dustin Kenyon and Brian Boyles. Another Boyles man next to Jordan Van Westen. And then rounding it out, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the reason we're all here, Mr. Cody Early, starting 17th. Now, as they kind of get warmed up, Travis, I want to ask you this. I'm going to give you 2 names, and you tell me which one is right. Does Brett Carlton or Dylan Hutchison have more top 10s?
I'm going to go Dylan Hutchinson.
Well, I'll tell you what, they both have 3 top 10s. A little bit of a trick question. Is this the night where one of these guys neither has a top 5? Is this the night where Brett Carlton or Dylan Hutchison gets a top 5? That's something to watch tonight, boys and girls.
As they're lined up, Jacob Lassiter on the inside, Tater Williams to his outside. Carlton starting back there in 4th. He was our Houston Guttering Time Trials pole winner tonight. As they make their way around, the iRacing pace truck has his lights off on the backstretch. It is a beautiful, sunny, clear day here in Weedsport, New York. As they make their ways through 3 and 4, we are about to go green in tonight's Ice Bowl presented by Carrier. Pace truck makes his way off of turn 4. Jacob Lassiter, Tater Williams bring us to green at Weedsport. Cars stacked up side by side as they go into 1 and 2. Tater Williams on the outside, Lassiter on the inside. Thompson wants to get in on the fun on the inside.
Wow, almost 3 wide there. And the chaos that we saw in lap 1, and the chaos continues. Wow, that first turn is going to cause some problems as we see the Scooby-Dooby-Doo ride get a little bit of a, the tail end. There's a little bit of the tail wagging the dog there, but they're continuing to ride. Caution free for the moment. We saw some wild happenings all afternoon in that final turn, and it looks to be raining true here, but still running caution free.
That first lap, Carlton got into the outside wall in 3 and 4, bunched them up. Dylan Perry had to slam on the brakes to avoid getting into the back of Carlton, and now Perry makes his move. Really the only leader running that far inside lane right against that barrier in 3 and 4 and then 1 and 2. As the yellow flag comes out, it looks like it's the DC Smith machine.
Let's watch along here. That number 29 looks good. Takes it inside. Does he bump it possibly? No contact there, just cut in front, and yeah, that's tough. One guy in DC's trying to gain control, the other guy just trying to mind his line as the deck has been restacked. And yeah, we saw some, I honestly thought we were going to see a caution there in the first couple laps. I know we did end up seeing one now here early, but Tater just took off. That's one takeaway. That concerns me if I'm the field. Tater taking off, he already won this last year. It'd be really crazy to see a back-to-back winner so early.
As you see the top 3, Tater Williams was able to pull away, last year's winner, heat race winner tonight as well, handedly. Thompson to his outside, he's been fast all night, and that Dylan Perry machine has worked his way up to 3rd now. He started 5th, made his way, and now his sights are set on that 182 Tater Williams machine. Some other guys that made up some ground that first green flag run we had there was the Brian Boyles machine, that 41 there. He's up 3 spots. Colin Boyles right there behind him, up 3 spots, following each other up through the field. And that 72 of that Scooby-Doo machine, he's gained a couple spots as we went green that first run as well. We've got 40 laps tonight in tonight's Ice Bowl presented by Carrier.
Yeah, and it's going to be stressful, and it's only going to get more stressful. You know, we started this off with black, you know, on the surface, which is about 50%. So we knew that going into this with the cold temps that it was going to be slick. You know, it's chilly up there in New York, and I don't think it's going to get easier. As much as I hate to say it, as we are going green once again. Tater Williams taking us to the flag, and they are deep into turn 1, heading into turn 2.
Tater Williams able to pull away again as Thompson and Perry are side by side through 3 and 4. Lassiter and Carlton right behind them. Dylan Perry really trying to make that inside line move as he's on the inside of Thompson through 1 and 2.
Can you believe it? Only 25 laps to go. This is a quick one tonight, and the boys are flying through it right now. But yes, Tater running hot. I love watching, though, this 2nd through 5th place. We talk about it all the time. Right now, if you can get out of turn 4 with confidence, just carry that into turn 1, and that looks like what Dylan Perry's doing right there, but he is not getting anything given to him.
And the caution comes out for Jordan Van Westen right in front of the leaders. Let's take a look with our Coolray instant replay. Looks like Jordan had troubles in 1 and 2 as we watch here. And just spins out as he goes through the corner right in front of Tater Williams and the leaders for our 2nd caution of the night.
I need a little help there getting back over the wall. That was tough. It just looked like he had a little loss of control there. You know, he didn't show that lack of control earlier, so I'm curious to know what exactly happened there. But I'm just glad no other cars got involved, and fortunate to see that. Good to see him get out of the car.
And if you didn't notice already, that number 7 machine is now up to 2nd. Dylan Perry continues to chip away. Now sits 2nd right next to Tater Williams on this next restart. 2nd row has Thompson and Lassiter. Carlton back in 6th now. And John Hine up to 5th.
In each race this season, you know, only 1 win right now for Dylan Perry. But you could argue, and we've talked about, you could argue that he should have a win in all these races. Well, until he takes the lead here, this is so far not a race where I can say that he's deserved this win. But if he can give a run for the money against Tater Williams, then this is definitely one that he should and can win, Mr. Dylan Perry. So it's going to take taking down the man himself, Tater Williams, and don't count out a lot of these other cars out here. Even Aiden Young, he's in the middle of the pack there, but Aiden Young is brilliant at just maneuvering through traffic and making late race improvements.
They're stacked back up. The iRacing pace truck will make his way off of turn 4. Williams Perry leading the field. Tater Williams gets us back to green at Weedsport. 23 laps to go in this main event. Thompson, lots of issues in 1 and 2 as they fight their way through, and we'll make it through clean. Great saves by Hine and Aiden Young.
Jacob Lassiter definitely bumping a couple folks, and credit to the boys he bumped into. They stayed strong and really Lassiter, but it looks like we have the caution coming out. We knew this was going to be coming pretty soon. Let's see what exactly happened.
So Aiden Young gets sideways, stacks him up a little bit. Great save. And it looks like the accordion... Oh, and Spees got into the back of Young in 3 and 4, and that is what brought our 3rd caution as more join in, as we'll stop them out there as we look to reset the field. Lots of cars included in that last race, as it looks like the directors will go through and figure out who needs to be where as the iRacing pace truck makes his way to the front of the field.
Yeah, pace truck, he seemed pretty aggressive driving out there, but I kind of feel there for Cody Early. He kind of ran into the back of the carnage, not able to completely avoid it. Hopefully his car is still good as well, and the man who is doing great, I don't know if he has any dirt on his car at all, of Tater Williams, but credit to Dylan Perry. He's sticking with it. It might take some cautions to kind of reset the field, but every single time we have a restart, that's an opportunity for Dylan Perry.
Adam, we talked about the different tracks we'll visit throughout the season. after being at Volusia, a bigger track, lots more room to navigate, higher speeds, we go to this 3/8 D-shaped oval here in New York, and it's definitely caused an effect. You know, we've talked about turn 4 being really sharp as they come off of there, and then just being a much smaller track than what we've been racing on this season. It's really brought a whole different style of racing, and I think Tater Williams being able to pull away out front is probably in the safest spot each time we go green.
It sure is, and this is the track, as we see the pace car lights come off, that and it looks like we got reset. This is a track that's moving quickly right now, and we were almost, well, we might be halfway through the race if we can get the lap count up there, but I'm excited to see us go green. Tater, can you get another great restart? We'll soon find out.
Tater Williams and Dylan Perry lead us back through 4, and we're back to green at Weedsport. Tater Williams, a great restart again, as he's able to pull away as Dylan Perry moves to the high side through 1 and 2, with Thompson and Lassiter looking to make a move behind him.
Man, Tater is just brilliant at those restarts, and that's not to say that the other boys behind him aren't solid restarters, but boy, is Tater running hard. Ooh, looks like we've got the caution out. It looks to be possibly for the number 112. Let's see, actually. 117. Apologies. It's coming around. Running that high line. Ooh, does he get pushed a little out of his lane? Oh, he gets knocked by the Scooby-Doo car.
It looks like they tried to go 3 wide. They were clear until Chapman got a little loose there exiting the corner and came down on him. But we'll restack them as Tater Williams continues to lead with Dylan Perry. Another phenomenal crowd. Believe we're 5 for 5 this season, Adam, with great crowds for the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series.
Sure are, and if these fans, you watching, haven't done so yet, please be sure to like, subscribe to Extreme eSpeed TV, and follow along on the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series Facebook page.
We've got plenty of racing. Extreme eSpeed TV is not only home to the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, but also the Light Electric Company Next Gen Series, racing on Sunday nights. They had their latest event last Sunday as they went to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Plenty of fun, nice nightcap for your weekend.
Yeah, I saw you just got back in last night. A little bit of, maybe it looks like you got a little bit of sun there, but it sounds like you enjoyed yourself and maybe won a little bit of money out there.
We've got one more race. I'll actually be flying back to the West Coast a little bit later in the week as we'll wrap up this Sunday at Phoenix as we make our laps around here, setting the field up. But yeah, the Next Gen Series out west. You're in California, you're in Vegas, you're in Phoenix, you're going to catch some rays. Try to put my SPF 50 on, it's just not enough out west.
I've recently discovered SPF 100, and it's safe to say I don't even feel the sun. It's like nighttime for me constantly, and it's saving my life.
Well, the sun is out here at Weedsport. It is a clear, beautiful sky. Pace truck lights are still on as we sort through the field. A couple bigger cautions the last couple times have caused some delays with resetting the field, putting the guys in the right position. The few guys that do know where they are at is that front with Tater Williams, Dylan Perry, Justin Thompson, and Jacob Lassiter. They have been the class of the field tonight. Our Houston Guttering Time Trials pole sitter, Brett Carlton, he's currently sitting in as they cycle through. Let's take a look here. He's currently sitting in 6th.
Well, even like we talked about, Thompson sitting 3rd right now. He's 3rd in the standings, 3rd in this race. I'm just curious, does he have enough tonight? Is his car set up well enough to overtake both Perry and Williams? I think one of them's going to have to make a mistake for him to capitalize, but it's going to be really difficult, and that's just a credit to the drivers in front of him.
It'll be interesting to see what they do here, Adam. We saw earlier in the season when we had some cautions breeding cautions, they would switch to a single file restart. Let's see if they're going to do that here tonight as they sort through the field. And it looks like the iRacing pace truck will turn his lights off this time as we make our way around. Tater Williams, followed by Dylan Perry. Pace truck makes his way off of turn 4. Tater Williams will bring us back to green at Weedsport with 20 laps to go. Dylan Perry, Thompson, Lassiter as the caution comes out. Looks like it's going to be the 12 of Jordan Van Westen and the 117 of Joshua Johnson in it as well.
And that's a bummer. You know, you saw the restart Tater got as we look at the Coolray instant replay here. See exactly what happened. We got a little slow-mo action taking place. Just spun it, man. We've seen issues in that turn, and even on restarts, it looks like it's become an issue that's popped up. But I mean, you saw the way right when it went green, the way Tater Williams whipped that wheel and just took off. He just took off. And Dylan Perry's a great racer. He's a great restart, kind of driver. So, man, it's gonna take a mistake from Tater, I think, or some lap traffic to give these boys a chance behind him.
Tater Williams is currently second on the all-times win list for the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. He has 6. He had a phenomenal year last year. Had a couple streaks as he won back-to-back at Fairbury, won at Lernerville, and then finished off the season with 2 wins at Charlotte, the dirt track at Charlotte. So he definitely has experience, knows how to get around a lot of these tracks, and right now he looks like the expert at Weedsport, as nobody has even been able to get up to him to challenge thus far, as the iRacing Pace Truck turns his lights off again, and we will work on going back to green here at Weedsport Speedway. Tater Williams comes through 4, and the green flag is back out.
Single file restart proves to be a little less chaotic, and hoping not to bite my words as we get a little bit of a green flag run. Drivers are pretty spaced out right now. The biggest space is, of course, between Tater Williams and Dylan Perry. We watch some racing, watch some of these battles for third right here.
Lassiter moves to the inside of Thompson. As the yellow comes back out again, it looks like it's going to be the 29 machine of DC Smith. Let's take a look with our Coolray instant replay. Looks like it bunched up those 3 and 4, and then when they went into 1, they just ran out of room, maybe running out of some patience at this time as well, Adam.
That could be, and even we've seen more often in tonight than all season, Mr. Aiden Young getting in the mix, and Aiden's usually really good at navigating that. He's just had some tough breaks in terms of, and you mentioned it, Travis, this is a smaller track. We've seen some much bigger ones, some more space to fan out, and I think this track right here, the way the D shape is it's not a great opportunity for these boys to quickly maneuver, quickly jerk out of the way, because if you do, you're spinning just like the guy in front of you. So a tough break for Aiden Young and some of the boys involved in that crash and that collision, but Tater Williams still holding strong up front, and we're going to keep mentioning it as long as he's holding that line.
And that's what's so great about this series, Adam, is you have guys that performed well at Volusia. Aiden Young won night number 2, and then we head to Weedsport, and the track just doesn't work for him. He's back in the field currently in 12th after that last caution, but it's interesting to see how they adjust to each of these tracks. We're going to go to a bunch of different types of track, including next week we're at Bristol, which is going to be high speeds, high banking.
Yes, indeed, and right before the broadcast started, a couple of names I want to bring back up. Brett Carlton and Dylan Hutchison. Brett Carlton currently sitting 5th right now. I haven't seen anything really crazy come from him at the moment. So a top 5, though, would be a big deal. He does not have a top 5 in the season. This is what we kind of were aiming for. Other driver, Dylan Hutchison, not having as great of luck, sitting 12th right now. Things are kind of shifting and moving. Looks like score bug up there shows some intent, so we'll see where this all shakes out when the caution gets cleared up. But I'm looking at some of these cars in the field, that Scooby-Doo ride, with Zach Thompson. There's some dented metal right now. Not only, we're used to seeing the dirt on it, but you look at those rears and those quarter panels, a little beat up, but that just means that these boys are racing hard.
as they sort through the field. We'll get a lineup for you once it's all back. We did see Tater Williams drop to the back of the field as that caution came out. We've not heard why from race officials yet. If we do, we will pass that along, but he currently sits back in 15th position after leading much of this race, which will then pass the lead over to Dylan Perry, which has obviously been the second fastest car today. Now we look at it and say, can Perry pull away like Tater was able to do, or is Thompson going to be able to make a move on Dylan as we go back to green here at Weedsport?
Yeah, that's been the question we've been asking this entire time, and something else to really take a look at is I want to know who's gonna take over next week. Next week we're at Bristol, and so I know we still got a fair amount of laps left here, but Bristol's on the horizon, an opportunity if some of these guys need to make a move. Look at the pace car. Still has the lights on. They're still figuring things out, but yeah, I'm excited for Bristol up next. Once again, we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast in our opening segment, but Carrier Fall Nationals, well, that registration is open on the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series Facebook page. You can find it. It's open to all iRacing drivers. So if you're watching this or you know someone who might be interested, hey, check it out. Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series Facebook. And while you're at it, drop us a like, and we'd love that. So
looks like Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series driver Andy Piercefield, unable to attend tonight's race, is checking into the broadcast, calling out the Scooby-Doo car of number 72, Zach Chapman. Lots of love for that paint scheme today. And that's something that's really cool about this series, is they're able to really show their personalities, show off sponsors of either their companies or companies that they're friends with or that they want to help support. It's just a lot of fun, and that's really where this entire series comes from, is having a good time, good races, and hopefully providing some entertainment to you race fans tuning in.
entertaining to me, for sure. I got the Brite Box right above it, and then got Zoink on there, and yeah, there's some nice schemes in this series. I know, people are biased, and I'm one of them. I really like what I'm seeing in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. They bring something special every week, really every driver. You don't know what you're going to see, and that's kind of what's exciting when you tune in here on Extreme eSpeed TV, as we might be getting a little bit closer to going green. Not a ton of laps. This is only a 40-lapper, so it's moving quick, and it's a short track, so even quicker. Excited to show you guys an amazing finish, though.
The iRacing pace truck turns his lights off down the backstretch of Weedsport. Dylan Perry, Justin Thompson, Jacob Lassiter, John Hine, your top four as we get ready to head back to green. And Dylan Perry gets through four, and we are back to green at Weedsport with 17 laps to go. Justin Thompson able to stick right behind Dylan Perry as he tries to make a move to the outside as they go down the backstretch.
That's right, and the caution comes back out not even a lap and a half later. We're going to find out what exactly that is.
And it looks like it's going to be our former leader, the 182 of Tater Williams. Oh, it's the 117 of Joshua Johnson, actually, that brought out the caution. As we line them back up, that was our Coolray instant replay. Back to line them back up. They'll wait for the iRacing pace truck. He might be the most aggressive driver out there tonight as he bulls his way up the field. Dylan Perry was able to get a good restart there, Adam, but Justin Thompson hung with him through 1 and 2.
Yeah, and I still, even with about 16, 15 laps to go, I'm not counting out Tater Williams that he can make a run back to the top. He moved up even one spot. He was 15th when that restart happened. Looks like they got him in 14th, although they are shuffling the deck right now. But yes, Dylan Perry, this is right within his grasp. But I also say the opportunity is just as much there for Justin Thompson. He does not give up an inch. And so there's the guy who's not going to give him an inch. It's going to be Mr. Perry. So this is kind of like an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. I just don't know which is which is going to win right now. So we're about, we're clocking through this race right now. A few cautions have slowed it down, but they really have moved some quick laps, and the track sure has changed. Look how dark it is throughout a majority of some of those turns.
Spees was in the pits. He's made his way back out to the track as he goes back to the back. If you're watching on Extreme eSpeed TV today, we've got the chats open. Send us over your picks for who's going to win this Carrier Ice Bowl, the first annual here at Weedsport Speedway. Looks like hunting the high side. Has not lost faith in Tater, as he said Tater's about to open up a can of whoop booty here in the second to get back to the front, as Tater Williams is back in 14th after being sent to the rear during an earlier caution. So it will be fun to see if he can make his way, and we are back to green at Weedsport.
Yeah, don't be surprised if you see Tater take a top 10 here in the next few laps. A green flag run, everything he needs right now. So we'll see if these boys can stay out of trouble as the caution once again presents itself.
As we'll bring out the Coolray instant replay, it looks like it's the 182 of Tater Williams this time. On the restart, gets below the 3 of Cody Early. Oh, and the 00 spun out in front of Tater. Tater had to make a move not to hit him. That's the 00 of Dustin Kenyon. As we'll set them back on the backstretch as the iRacing pace truck makes his way back up through the field and gets us lined back up here at Weedsport.
You got to feel for Tater right now. The man's just trying to make some moves. He's getting cut low. There's, impacts up high. Not his most comfortable position. Tater all night's been running in front, clean air. This is the first opportunity where I think other drivers' dirt is landing on him, and now he's running and banging metal. So not ideal for Tater, but I do believe if and when we do get a full green flag run of 5 to 10 laps, Tater's the guy you don't want really hunting you down. So it's going to get interesting if we get some green flag laps.
As we take a view from the choppa as they go down the backstretch here at Weedsport Speedway, Dylan Perry leads us. Pace truck lights still on as they sort through the field. Dylan Perry, Justin Thompson, Jacob Lassiter, John Hine, and Brett Carlton, your top 5. The beautiful crowd, the beautiful speedway. It's been a fun day we've spent up here in upstate New York. Adam, any souvenirs you picked up while walking around town earlier today?
No, I just made sure I had sunscreen on, like we talked about. Yeah, full schedule ahead is at Weedsport. Hoping to get back out here soon, but for now, got just a handful of laps remaining in the first annual Ice Ball. So
the iRacing pace truck turns off his lights as he'll jump off the track there in turn 4. Dylan Perry, Justin Thompson bring us back to green. Great restart by Perry as Thompson has trouble getting going in turn 4, stacks up the field, and Perry's able to pull away through 1 and 2.
That's right, 15 to go, and we're going to need a long green flag run to maintain a beautiful restart there from Perry as he, just takes that so close on the final turn, but it's working for him. The drivers behind him are going to hope that he, bumps it, but I want to watch this right here. Just look at the way he's navigating that. No one in front of him. I want to see how he approaches this final turn, because look how close he gets there, but when it works, it just gives him so much speed. Love watching those turns on that low lane.
He's really able to diamond that. If you see it, he slides it in there, gets about halfway, then jumps on the gas and really cuts that corner coming off, both in 2 and 4, which has been a fast lap for him out here at Weedsport.
And it's so easy is not the right word, I'm not driving it, but it's so much easier to hit those marks when you don't have 5 guys swinging up and down right in front of you. So Perry's going to take it as long as he can. And it looks like he might be approaching some lap traffic in the next, 30 to 40 seconds possibly if we stay green.
And you can see his fastest lap is a 15.68. The next fastest out there is Justin Thompson with a 15.77. So Dylan Perry is on rails as he stretched his lead to over a second over Justin Thompson, as now Thompson battles with Lassiter for second, and Carlton and John Hine are back battling for 4th and 5th. Plenty of great battles all around this 3/8 mile in New York.
Tater Williams just a lap ago was 12th. He's now 11th, and with 9 laps to go, I'd like to see. Watch him pass the. Oh, a little bit of contact there. But even when he makes contact, he loses nothing. His car is so strong.
He continues to battle up through the field. It will come down to if he has enough time. And also, you get back there, you try to get super aggressive. Opens up more mistakes, opens up more opportunities for trouble, but he continues to pick them off one by one as he looks to get back into the top 10 this time coming to the start-finish line.
And the fact that he's making progress like this and not even in his ideal preferred lane, he's kind of taking whatever the other guy in front of him is not using, is so impressive. But also just as impressive is the lead that Dylan Perry has found and is maintaining as he makes a little bit of contact there. It looks like he's still holding strong. Great job by Dylan. Just hit his marks, and he's about 5 laps away from an interview in a first place, a little first place trophy next to him.
You can see the top 3 have really moved down the track. They're all racing down on the inside. As Tater Williams is still back. He's back in 10th, now behind Steven Spies. Dylan Perry continues to lead as he comes up on some lap traffic. The 00 of Dustin Kenyon moves to the side, lets the leaders go by easily, and the caution will come out with 4 laps to go. Let's see if our Coolray instant replay caught that one, as it looks like it's going to be Aiden Young and Brian Voiles. There they are as they go down the front stretch. Aiden Young in that 69, Voiles in the 47, and it looks like Voiles just gets into the back of Aiden Young, collects Steven Spies before it's over with. And now we've got about 4 laps to go when we come back to green here. Dylan Perry paces the field. iRacing Pace Truck lights are on out front. Top 5 is going to be Dylan Perry, Justin Thompson, Jacob Lassiter, John Hine, Brett Carlton. Brett Carlton was our Houston Guttering Time Trials Pole Award winner tonight.
If he can hold that top 5, that would be his first top 5 this season. He's got a few top 10s and a heat win, so he's due for an opportunity to celebrate something tonight. I think a top 5 would be a reason for celebration. Dylan Perry, he's now reached that status where if he doesn't win tonight, that's going to be one where it's going to eat him up a bit, kind of like it did earlier this season with a couple of the other losses, because he's a great driver. And I personally don't think if he gets the restart he wants, I don't think there's any way with just 3 or 4 laps to go for him to get caught up. So I'm really excited for him. This could be another win on the year for the rookie in this league, but certainly not a rookie to dirt racing.
Pace Truck will keep his lights on as he comes around, not going green this time by from race officials. Believe they clicked off that time by. The sun makes it hard to see those lights as they go off into 1 and 2. Got Dylan Perry, Justin Thompson, Jacob Lassiter as the Pace Truck lights are off. He'll make his way off of turn 4 to the pit area, located beyond 3 and 4 there. Remember, you come to a Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, autographs in the pits before and after the races. As Dylan Perry, Justin Thompson bring us back to green at Weedsport, as we've got 3 laps to go in the Ice Bowl presented by Carrier.
Solid restart, but probably not the best restart we've seen from Dylan Perry, but he's still holding it strong. With Thompson and Lassiter battling it out. John Hine not far behind, though, as we see a little bit of a mix-up there from Lassiter.
The top 5's really been able to pull away as they battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Dylan Perry pulls away from Thompson as he'll come to the white flag this time by.
Just hit the marks, and we will have a 2-time winner this season. Our first 2-time winner in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series.
He will actually join John Foskey as a 2-time winner.
That's right. Sorry,
year.
John.
As he comes around, he will take the checkered flag at Weedsport, and Dylan Perry is your Ice Bowl presented by Carrier winner. Justin Thompson 2nd, Jacob Lassiter 3rd, Brett Carlton 4th, John Hine 5th. Dylan Perry obviously excited as he comes around 3 and 4 in front of this excited crowd here at Weedsport. We've got Dylan Perry, Justin Thompson, and Jacob Lassiter parking it on front row here. And Adam, another exciting finish. We're going to go to commercial break quickly. When we come back, we will talk to your top 3 finishers in the first annual Ice Bowl. You're watching Extreme eSpeed TV.
People want to have a one-stop shop. They need us for now all these different services, not just the heating and air side.
When things are going wrong, you want the company that's going to be able to get things done as fast as possible for you.
Today, we're going to be in over 600 homes. What the customers can count on is we're going to send a competent person to your home with a vehicle that's stocked and prepared. We're going to do what's right.
Right now, we're waiving our $79 service fee with any Coolray, Brite Box, or Mr. Plumber service.
You got me, Jacob?
Welcome back to Weedsport Speedway as the first annual Ice Bowl presented by Carrier comes to a close. I'm going to send it over to my partner Adam Johnson as he's got our third place finisher.
That's right. I am joined with third place finisher Jacob Lassiter. Jacob, first of all, you came into this one 8th in the standings. You're definitely going to move up a little bit now. Did it feel good? This is kind of a two-part question. Did it feel good, one, to be kind of back at a new track in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, and was the track really as slick as it looked? I know that you were kind of mixing it up for a little bit, but did it feel good to kind of get out to a new track, and how do you feel about your performance tonight?
Well, I'm really disappointed with Volusia. I thought we could have had some better results, but yeah, I mean, Weedsport's not really the track I would pick to come back from, but I like how Cody's got them set up where we can get them out of the way, you know what I mean, and move on. But it was a little slick, but I mean, it gets hard to pass there because everybody kind of follows that same line, and you really have to get somebody to make a mistake. And I could get under Justin just a few times, but it wasn't enough to clear him. I didn't want to take him out or nothing like that. I was just trying to maintain third all I could.
You mentioned, a little bit harder to pass on this track, and there's some tight corners there as well, especially that final one. At what point was it in maybe the last 10 laps or so, were you okay with, if I can just finish it to the top 5 or top 3, I'll be happy, knowing just how hard it would have been to catch up to both Thompson and Mr. Perry?
Oh yeah, I'm not disappointed with the third for sure. Dylan's, he's tough every time he unloads, and Justin is too, and so to be up here, we was probably a 4th place car. I'm not sure about the ruling that Tater got. It looked like a good start to me, but they make the calls. You know what I mean? We follow what they do, and so if they felt it was early, they felt it was early. But he kind of got a raw deal on that, and kind of unfortunate for him. But like I said, man, just to come on third and try to get back up in the points, feels pretty good.
Pretty good indeed. Your third top 5 this season in just 5 races. Before we let you go, have any partners, any sponsors you want to thank before we call it a night?
Man, I got to thank all the guys at 399 Esports for all their help, and I got to thank JDM Designs with the wrap on the car. Yeah. I got to thank Max Green, as always, who stays on board with me every year. And can't do it without him. I got to thank Cody for putting the league on, and all the admins that put in the work to give us a place to run and to give us a good race to race in. I got to thank you guys for the broadcast. I got to give a shout out to a couple guys at work. They was watching tonight, and if they braved the whole race, I'm not sure if they stayed in it or not, but if they did, shout out to them. And I got to thank the wife for taking care of the little one. Without her support, man, it wouldn't be possible.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jacob. We appreciate it, and we're looking forward to see you next week at Bristol.
Sounds good, fellas.
Hey, Adam, I've now got our second place finisher, Justin Thompson. Justin, we're getting used to you finishing in the top 3 early in the season here. You get to come away with another runner-up position. What's really the difference between getting those second and third place finishes, and what's holding you back from getting up there and getting a win here early in the year?
Stress from real life stuff, everything. I mean, there's a bunch of factors that go into play with that. I mean, I try to leave everything out of the sim racing, but I mean, it still follows me. It's still in the back of my head. So do the best I can.
So in this race, we saw Tater got taken back, and then you had Dylan Perry. How much confidence did you have, especially following Dylan Perry in the final, 10 to 15 laps? Did you feel like, were you waiting for a mistake? How confident did you feel that you might be able to get him at some point, or were you just happy to hold that second place line?
I mean, after hearing 2 different things about the restart zone, it kind of screwed with me. I didn't know which one was right for the restart, because as you saw, Tater got EOL for jumping the restart. Before we went into the actual feature, it had not been relayed to me that the restart zone was that concrete pad entering the infield. It was what was said in our driver's meeting, which was the bollard poles and the concrete wall. So I didn't want to take a chance with it, and I was trying to figure out what Dylan was doing, but he restarted different every time. So, I mean, it's hard to judge where somebody's going to floor it. And, I mean, the track was just locked down. I mean, when the bottom came in, it was you either go to the bottom or you lose spots. And at the start of the race, it was you're either up top or you're going to lose spots. So, I mean, it's just victim of circumstances. And if you hit turn 3 wrong running the top, it just grabbed the car. It'd grab the front end of the car, pick it up off the track, and sling it back up the track for the front end. I don't know what's going on, so yeah, it's just one of them things. Did the best of what I had.
Definitely. Great breakdown, by the way. We really appreciate that. And you are the definition of consistency so far in this league. Whether it's a win or not, you're always up there. Do you have confidence going into Bristol next week? Is that another track where we should expect a top 5 or a win from Mr. Justin Thompson?
Man, Bristol. When they told me they was bringing Bristol to iRacing, I went back to thinking about other games that have had Bristol dirt, other sims that were dirt late models that had Bristol dirt in it. And I mean, that track, it's in the pro late model, it's going to be hammered down wide open even when the track's slick. I mean, it's going to be like racing Daytona or Talladega. You got to qualify good, and then you got to keep good track position, or you're the odd man out, and you're just going to be SOL at that point.
Gotcha. Well, we are very excited to see you next week, Justin. Once again, congrats on a really great run. Best of luck this week ahead, and we can't wait to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys up here broadcasting. I appreciate Cody and the league. I love coming here to race every Wednesday night. Maybe frustrating at times, but at the same time, it's a good place to race, and the series is fun. The way it's set up and how we run through the event every Wednesday night, it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin. Congratulations on your second place run tonight here at Weedsport. Now joining us in the booth is tonight's winner, the winner of the first annual Ice Bowl presented by Carrier at Weedsport Speedway, the number 7 of Dylan Perry. Dylan, congratulations on the run tonight. We saw you pick your way up through the field as you usually do. What was the difference tonight that really let you grab that lead and never look back?
Honestly, I don't know. Before we started the race, I was talking to my stick guy, and I was kind of set on running the bottom unless I just had to move up. Whenever everybody's running the top around here, it's hard enough. This track's narrow, so it's hard to pass. So I was going to try to use up the only lane that was available and try to roll the bottom. And before the top was able to get momentum on those first couple restarts, I was able to pick off a couple positions and able to get up there to kind of where I could settle down a little bit and just see what would happen for the rest of the race. And then bad luck happened to my buddy Tater, and I hate to see that happen to him, but that's the bad part of racing. You're going to have bad luck, and I've had it happen to me, so I know what he's going through. But at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it, and it's just racing. That's why we come back every week.
How does it feel? You really could have won any of the 3 races at Volusia. How does it feel to get back into the rhythm after a couple weeks off and be able to close it out and win here at Weedsport?
It's a major confidence boost. After feeling like I had a decent chance at Volusia those couple of nights and just not really doing the best I could with the cards I had dealt, it's definitely a good pick-me-up to be back in victory lane with the PLMDS guys. It's tough to win any of these races, so just to get one, now I think I'm at 2. It's a major plus, and hopefully I can ride this momentum wave a little bit longer than I did the last one.
So next week we're at Bristol Motor Speedway with dirt on it. How do you feel as you go into that track? What's your week look like as you prepare to go down to Tennessee?
Well, it's gonna be a hectic one because I'll be hopefully running my first race for this year on Saturday in real life, and then trying to gear up and get ready for Bristol back to back. So it's going to be a hectic one, but I'm looking forward to it. I like racing around that track, and I don't know why, but some people don't like it, but I like it just because you can manipulate air a little more, and you'll feel there's more air going on there than most other tracks. So I just like it. I like racing on it. And once it gets right, you can be top, bottom. There's probably 6 lanes you can run on, and none of them are the fastest. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, Dylan. We're looking forward to it, too, and we expect nothing but speed from you next week in Tennessee. Any sponsors, anyone you want to give a shout-out to before we shut it down for the night?
Yeah, first off, I got to thank Andy over at Coolray. I know he couldn't be here tonight, but hopefully he was watching, and I just want to thank him for every little thing that he's done for me. I appreciate every bit of it more than I can ever say. And the guys over at Stealth Racing Carburetors, Longhorn Chassis, Rapid Race Graphics, Masterbuilt Equipment, Harrison Automotive, Newt's Lawn Care, Phantom Race Engines, Bangin' Sets, B&B Custom Baits, Combs Cuts, and just everybody over at CBR. They've helped me tremendously to kind of keep me out of my slump that I was in after Volusia. They've helped me realize that this is a long season, and I just can't thank them guys enough.
Well, congratulations, Dylan, our winner of the first annual Ice Bowl presented by Carrier at Weedsport. Thank you, Dylan. We will see you next week at Bristol.
Thank you, and thank y'all for the broadcast.
That's Dylan Perry, our winner tonight. Now joining us is series director and driver of the number 3, Cody Early, to talk us through what exactly happened on that call earlier tonight with the 182 of Tater Williams. Cody, could you kind of talk us what the officials saw and what the final ruling on that was?
The initial ruling was that the 182 had jumped the start. The concrete pad, which is at the entrance there at turn 4, the restart box initially was set for those poles at turn 4 and going to the end of the block wall. But once we looked at that in the driver's meeting, I made an adjustment and said anywhere from the concrete pad to the end of that concrete barrier was our restart zone. And after going back and watching the video and looking at some pictures that were taken, and they actually drew a line from the concrete pad to the outside wall, a straight line, it does appear that the 182 had fired, I would say, about a tire width distance before actually crossing the entrance of that pad. And unfortunately, officials had to make a decision on that. The warning that's issued is issued before the race starts, before the night gets underway. And then, of course, if you jump the restart, that's an automatic EOL. So tough decision. I hate that for Tater, and I hate that because of the speed he had here, especially the way he ran this race a year ago. But the officials were spot on. I know they took a little bit of extra time to look at it because, I mean, that's an important call. That's a huge call here because of track position and how important it is. So they made the call. They looked at all the different camera angles that we had available to us, and once the review was over, that was the call that they stuck with.
Thank you for the explanation, Cody. Thank you for a great day here at Weedsport Speedway, and we'll see you next week in Tennessee at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Be glad to be back home, guys. Thanks for all you do.
That's Cody Early, Series Director and driver of the number 3 for tonight's explanation on the Tater Williams call. As we look through, here's our finishing lineup for the first annual Ice Bowl.
That's right. Dylan Perry picking up that second win of the season. That'll move him up likely in the standings, up with John Foskey, who has 2 wins. Hoping to see John Foskey back next week. Mr. Consistency, Justin Thompson in second, followed by Jacob Laster. Hey, Brett Carlton, his first top 5 of the season after a really great showing in qualifying. Great to see him there. John Hine, good racer, good announcer, does it all. Top 5. Zach Chapman in the top 10 with that Scooby-Doo car. Steven Speed 7th, DC Smith 8th, Colin Boyles and Dylan Hutcherson rounding out the top 10. And just a 17-car field out of 24 normally. So 11 through 17 run Joshua Johnson, Aiden Young, Dustin Kenyon, Brian Boyles, Tater Williams after a tough break earlier in the race, led a lot of laps. Cody Early and Jordan Van Weston rounding out tonight's action in your first annual Ice Bowl from Weedsport Speedway.
Well, Adam, it's been a pleasure joining you up here in upstate New York for the first annual Ice Bowl presented by Carrier. Reminder, we are back on Extreme eSpeed TV with the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series next Wednesday from Bristol, Tennessee for the Tennessee Moonshine Classic presented by Masterbuilt Race Cars at the dirt-covered Bristol Motor Speedway. Remember, Extreme eSpeed TV is your home all season long. Also, we will have coverage of the Light Electric Company Next Gen Series this Sunday night starting at 9 p.m. Eastern from Phoenix Raceway. Thank you, Adam, for another great show. Thank you, race fans, for joining us tonight. And you have been watching Extreme eSpeed TV. Good night.
New year, new season. Extreme eSpeed TV brings you live coverage of the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. See Dirt Pro Late Model's biggest stars battle in iRacing's most competitive series. Elbows up, hammer down action. The Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, live on Extreme eSpeed TV. Your home for everything eSpeed. This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of the Extreme eSpeed TV Network is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast.